This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Elderly woman disappears from Norman Manley Airport. It has been days of turmoil for the family of 66-year-old Hermeline McFarlane, who has been missing since her arrival at Kingston's Norman Manley International Airport on Friday. McFarlane arrived on a Caribbean Airlines flight from Trinidad and Tobago, where she had been living and working for the past 30 years. She suffers from dementia and had refused the wheelchair services but completed the required landing protocol with the assistance of an agent. Her daughter Tanya Thorpe told the news that while the attendant was picking up her mother's luggage in the baggage hall, the senior citizen apparently left the building. According to Thorpe, McFarlane's husband and a family friend had been waiting at the arrival lounge but never spotted her. Late Monday evening, the airport police confirmed that McFarlane had been reported missing. However, there was no update on their efforts to find her. In the meantime, Thorpe said, "The search for her mother has been an emotional hit. I have to take something to sleep at nights," she said. McFarlane was last seen in Jamaica in 2019. She returned to Trinidad and since retired but has fallen ill. Thorpe believes her mother may have become disoriented after flying. She is pleading for anyone who may have seen her mother to contact the airport police at 876-924-8002 or 119. McFarlane is about 5 feet 6 inches tall. She is of dark complexion, slim build, full eyes, and wears a low-cut natural hairstyle. McFarlane was last seen in black shoes, a black skirt, a white blouse, and a gray jacket. HMC to intensify revenue collection next year. For the first quarter of 2022, the Hanover Municipal Corporation will be ramping up efforts to counteract a decline in revenue since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The announcement comes on the heels of a recent revelation by local government minister Desmond McKenzie that the island's municipalities have collectively seen an estimated $2 billion fall off in revenue collection since March 2020. According to the minister, the situation has resulted in inadequate funding to carry out some of the functions of the municipal corporations. Although not divulging the extent of the hit the pandemic has had on the HMC, Lucy Mayor Sheridan Samuels, who chairs the municipality, acknowledged that the revenue collected was significantly less than what would have been collected under normal circumstances. He said that the HMC will be pulling out all the stops to recoup as much as possible between January and March, when the current financial year ends. Special emphasis will be placed on trade license, property taxes, and advertising revenue from billboards and other sources. "We are getting back to normal and we need to have some funds coming in, and you all know that by law everyone needs to pay their taxes because the property taxes that we collect are what is used to take care of our road network, garbage collection, street lights, and other things," said Samuels. He is pleading with stakeholders across the parish to be more understanding, noting that several concessions were made to them to facilitate the downturn in the economy brought on by the pandemic. According to Samuels, with the economy steadily showing signs of recovery, stakeholders will now need to start shouldering their responsibilities once again. Police probe murder of pregnant woman in downtown Kingston. Investigators are now trying to ascertain the motive for the murder of a pregnant woman yesterday evening in downtown Kingston. The incident happened near the intersection of Orange Street and Haywood Street. The deceased has been identified as a 26-year-old Shantiva Griffiths of Bayshore Drive, Kingston 17. The news was informed that shortly after 6 o'clock, Ms. Griffiths was walking when she was shot by a man. She died at hospital. Her killer escaped. Health Ministry rolls out Sinopharm vaccine. The Health Ministry has started the rollout of the Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine. A news release from the ministry says members of the public 18 years and older can book a vaccination appointment to receive the first of 2 doses of the vaccine. A shipment of the vaccine arrived on November 27 from the People's Republic of China. The ministry says a sign-up form will be available at the select vaccination sites island-wide. The 2-dose vaccine requires a period of 3 to 4 weeks between doses. UK Home Secretary facing legal action for Windrush compensation scheme. UK Home Secretary Priti Patel is facing legal action for the Windrush compensation scheme's failure to pay victims, with just 5% receiving money in the 4 years since the scandal came to light. Two groups, Windrush Lives and the Good Law Project, are asking for control of the Home Office-run scheme to be given to an independent organization to ensure victims receive long-awaited justice. Launched in response to the Windrush scandal that broke in 2018, the scheme has been hampered by extensive delays and bureaucratic hurdles. In a 24-page pre-action protocol letter seen by the independent newspaper, the Home Secretary is given a December 23 deadline to cease operating the scheme. The Windrush generation are people including Jamaicans who arrived in Britain between 1948 and 1973, many of whom were later wrongly classified by the Home Office as illegal immigrants. Many lost jobs and their homes, were denied health care, and threatened with deportation. One man killed in Salt Springs, St. James. Gunmen struck yesterday in Salt Springs, St. James, leaving one person dead. The Montego Hills police reported that about 12:20 a.m., residents heard explosions. During a search of the area about 6 hours later, 37-year-old Ricardo Warma, a resident of Salt Spring, was found shot to death. Termites making a meal of Glengough Post Office. With one of the main buildings, the post office in the town square, suffering from termite infestation, residents of Glengough in St. Catherine have expressed the fear that their community has been abandoned by the authorities. The state of the building, which from Monday to Wednesday in the 5-day work week, partially due to deterioration and health risk factors, is a cause for concern among residents who are wary of attempting to walk on the wooden porch to enter the facility, fearing that it could collapse at any time. The structure has fallen victim to rust, mold, and termites, with Community Development Committee President Howard Hunter expressing concern that it has not received much attention since the CDC effected some repairs 9 years ago. When the news visited the community 2 Wednesdays ago, the post office was closed, with residents saying that it is usually only open for business on Thursdays and Fridays. Checks on the Jamaica Post website also failed to yield results for the Glengough facility, which further pushed the residents' narrative that it was perhaps no longer regarded as part of the entity's daily operations, with concerns that it could soon be closed for good. However, a week later, Jamaica Post informed the news that there were no plans to close the post office, saying that it was not appearing on the website because efforts to update general information on the site were still ongoing. Jamaica Post further said that a reduction in operating days was due to a decline in business over the years. Nonetheless, we continue to offer Glengough and its environs a registered mail, ordinary mail, and a parcel service from this post office, the state agency added, noting that a spruce-up project had been launched in October to renovate the post locations island-wide. The project is to also include an expansion of Jamaica Post information and communications technology services while improving their overall customer experience. So far, the Halfway Tree branch has been renovated under the project, and the work is currently underway on its Crossroads branch both in St. Andrew. In keeping with our mandate to modernize, the department is in transformation mode and focused on implementing its strategic objectives, said Jamaica Post, adding that resource constraints would mean that the Spruce Up project is implemented in phases, with efforts ongoing to acquire funding to refurbish other post offices over time. Akiwok residents dispute police killing. Residents of 142 Malines Road in St. Andrew, commonly called Akiwok, are refuting claims by the security forces that a man who was shot fatally yesterday had engaged the police in a shootout. Dead is 25-year-old Renardo Nasri Duncan. The resident alleged that police acted unprofessionally when they entered their community shortly after midday and opened fire at a group of men who began running upon seeing the cops. Them hear say police are come and them run. I get to this and a man just a try stay out of the police way. No man no want lock down for the Christmas. So the youth them just a clear the way cause them no have nothing. At the gully them a get ready for clean cause them get Christmas work, a resident told the news. The resident said the group of men had just gone to sharpen cutlasses and were all waiting to leave at once. So the cutlass them had upon the table, so him dead without a weapon, a woman said. Senior Superintendent Aaron Fletcher, head of the St. Andrew North Police Division, who the news understands was in the community at the time of the operation, could not be reached for a comment. Up to press time, repeated calls to his phone went unanswered. A resident told our news team that a policeman discharged 2 rounds meters away from where Duncan was killed, and after the initial shooting that claimed his life, them take out a gun and fire it up in the air. Mr. Officer, make sure I know it you go put pan Nasri and see him shoot after them, a resident said. Some residents claim that the operation was well planned, as police were already at sections of the community to which the men were likely to have ran upon trying to flee. Them yellow tape down in here so, when around they saw them kill him. Them say anywhere we pass the yellow tape a 3 months imprisonment. Them do that because them no want we come out and talk. If a shootout, why them pick up the spent shell before Indicom come? A resident said, referencing the independent body now probing the incident. The residents claimed that dozens of shots were fired and that they had expected more persons to be killed, adding that their children have been left traumatized. The news gathered that Duncan is originally from the community of Marvelly, but has resided in Akiwok for some time. The police said a firearm was retrieved beside the dead man. No policeman reported any injury during the incident. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.